Welcome to The Nugget, which offers in-house lawyers and those who work with them a few minutes of advice from experts on cybersecurity and privacy. I'm David Heckler, Editor-in-Chief of CyberInsecurity News, and I have with me today Eric Goldman, who is a professor of law at the University of Santa Clara. Professor Goldman has been a pioneer in teaching internet law and privacy. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, a little more than a year ago, the General Data Protection Regulation from the European Union took effect, and a lot of companies had to struggle with the rigors of coming into compliance with it. It was a little less than a year ago that the California legislature passed the California Consumer Privacy Act, and that will go into effect in January. So, Professor Goldman, what I'd like to ask is, if a company had to go through the rigors of GDPR compliance, and there are a lot of them out there, can they at least breathe a sigh of relief that they're probably going to be just fine when the CCPA comes into effect, or do they have something to worry about?
Yeah, unfortunately, the CCPA is going to require the companies to do more work, even if they think they're GDPR compliant. There are some overlaps between the laws that cover similar concepts, and so some of the compliance work that was done for the GDPR can clearly be recycled to support the CCPA. But the CCPA has some provisions that don't match the GDPR in ways that are material and require new work to be done. I'll give just one example of that. The CCPA extends the definition of personal information to cover household information, not just information about a particular person, but about their household. That picks up information about other people in the household, and that entire concept isn't built into the GDPR. So even if the GDPR compliance program was built to cover personal information, a CCPA compliant program will have to cover this new concept of household information, and that requires basically re-architecting the entire compliance program. So that single word in the CCPA alone requires substantial new work to do the compliance.
Thank you, Eric. I think you might have disappointed a few lawyers out there, but better to be forewarned and forearmed than to find out later that they have a real problem. Okay, that's it for today's installment of The Nugget. If you'd like to hear more about what Professor Goldman has to say about privacy and international regulations, you can go to CyberInsecurityNews.com and read our full interview with him that's posted on the website now.